Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Game Hump. That's right, it's November 18th here at the Game Huggers YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited to introduce two new people that are new to the Hump this week. First, I'd like to introduce Matt. Say hi, Matt.
Hi, my name's Matt. I've known Josh now for a few years. I actually do my own sports podcast called The Bread and Matt Show, usually on a weekly basis. So usually I talk sports, but Josh invited me on to talk some video games with him. So I'm excited.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you cross-promoting here? Is that allowed?
I was just giving a little mention to it.
You got a PayPal link you want people to send you money to?
No, I
Jeez.
did not.
GoFundMe.
All right, and yes, you probably heard his name, or you heard his voice there. Fame Douglas has also joined us today. Say hi, Fame.
Was good, Fame Douglas, F. Doug, Uncle Fame, all of the above. Me and Josh, a.k.a. Al King, we go way, way back, like passenger side seats, everything from professional wrestling to gaming, and of course pizza. You know, I do pizza too. I gets it in. But oh yeah, happy to be here, and let's get it cracking like chapped lips.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on, actually. I've been waiting for a while to find the right time that the two of us were free on the same night to get you on here, because you've got great opinions on a lot of really, really good topics that we're hoping to talk about. And today, we're talking about sports games. I don't necessarily talk about sports games a ton. I mean, they're not necessarily the most popular genre of games that people are going out of their way to try to find, or long time players in gaming that goes on forever. But I've always played sports games. I've always enjoyed sports games. I have a ton of old games that are awesome, classic sports games. And what games are you guys currently playing right now that would be considered sports games?
I guess I'll go first on this one. Well, as far as sports right now, the most recent sports game that I've played was UFC from EA. I kind of got a love-hate relationship with EA, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. But otherwise, I haven't played a sports game, me personally, since actually no. Last game I played was maybe Madden 13. That was the last one. Yeah. Or was it called Madden 2.5? Yeah, Madden 2.5, the 25th anniversary. That was the last one I played, but I messed around with it briefly. It still doesn't compare to the OG, but yeah, it was all right.
That's fair. I guess for me, just last week I played Madden. Actually, not even just. I played Madden against a friend online just last week, but I played Madden yesterday actually, the new one. I'm that guy who buys every year Madden comes out. Just take my $60 right now, because I'm just that guy.
I'm so sorry.
The other game that I buy every year is NBA 2K. I always buy the latest NBA game. Usually I don't buy it right when it comes out, because the NBA season is so long, and usually I'm still in Madden mode. But as the NFL season goes on, usually I kind of die out of Madden, and then I get fired up about basketball, and I play a lot of that as well.
I recently started a season on Super Baseball Simulator 1000 on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Actually, in the background there was NBA Jam. I played some NBA Jam. But Super Baseball Simulator 1000, it's actually a really, really fun game. It has complete open, create a character, create players, create teams, create your own logo. It was a very old school style. It's called Baseball Simulator because it really is a simulator. You can simulate games, you can play games, you can do whatever, you kind of manage the team. It wasn't quite as in-depth as maybe the Baseball Stars games, where you could actually sign players, and you had a franchise limit amount of a salary cap that you could sign players to. You had to cut players when they started to play poorly and things like that. I love the simulation modes in types of games like that. I play old school systems all the time, so it's kind of where I'm stuck at with that. But I did recently pick up Madden 2015. which was last year's edition.
Okay.
I got that on the Xbox One recently. I have it installed. I think I played a couple quarters just to kind of get a feel for the game. Is it still normal for them to have the ping pong physics? Is that still a thing?
That
Because it
is,
feels
Yep.
yeah,
Still a thing.
that's still a thing.
it's crazy. You're a running back and you run into a tackle, and you could break the tackle. They've added an arm will grab onto you, but it's always the same animation and it's always the same style. Like if you're going to get tackled if you're hit head on. The only way you can like break a tackle is if somehow you like manage to get around it. It's kind of amazing that a football game like Backbreaker, which had amazing tackle physics, which was what now 4 or 5 years old already. Like, why didn't EA look at that and take that type of gameplay element and put it into their Madden games? It's still ping pong physics, and I was really shocked by that. Before Madden 15, the one I played before that was actually Madden 2012, which I have on the PSP, which is actually pretty fun for a handheld, but you kind of hold a handheld at like lower expectations anyway.
Sure.
So
Mhm.
I had a lot of fun playing with that one, but it's very similar other than like menus and the playbook. The way you choose your plays and stuff is different in the new version, but otherwise, yeah, I'm not like disappointed because I haven't really been that huge in Madden in general, like forever. Like the last Madden game that I loved was like Madden '93. Like that's like 22 years ago. But
Oh, man.
yeah.
What was
But
I doing? 93. Oh, my goodness.
I was still in high school, so I was playing video games in my free time and definitely not studying. But yeah, I'm shocked by that the tackling is still so weird, and I've noticed a few glitches here and there. There's some real glaring ones if you do searches on eBay, or I'm not eBay, but on YouTube, or just Googling things like Madden glitches. There's some funny ones out there.
You mean like the invisible receivers just popping in out of nowhere? Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing. Nobody's covering them. Well, because there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So, what would be some of now? Okay, we're talking about what we currently are playing. What would be some of your like favorite franchises of all time in sports in the sports world?
You want to take this one, Pop?
Sure. I mean, I guess back in the day, NFL Blitz was huge. I played that game a ton on the N64. Oh man, that was just a great time. I mean, it's just football with just no rules. It was awesome. So I really enjoyed that as a kid growing up. Obviously I could still pick it up and still have a blast with it.
It's perfect. I think that NFL Blitz on the N64 is actually like probably one of the top 10 games on that system. I think it just played so well on that system because of no load times. You didn't have to worry about like the graphics were pretty good at the time for the N64. I think the only time that they outdid it is when it came to the next generation of consoles.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, honestly, as far as franchises I'm happy with, and I'm sure we'll probably get into how EA has a stranglehold on Madden, but honestly, NBA 2K is awesome. Like, every single year that game comes out, like, NBA does, or 2K does a super good job with it. Every year I'm always more impressed than the year before with it. And I feel like as someone who puts $60 every year towards Madden and towards 2K's NBA game, I definitely feel like I get more money value with NBA for sure. But I mean, if we're going all-time favorite series, I mean, I really like that franchise a lot too.
Do you play as the Cleveland Cavaliers?
No,
Matt?
I do not. This is the only time the Milwaukee Bucks win the championship is when I take over.
Yes. That's awesome. All right, Fame, how about you?
As far as sports games, yeah, like I said, my most favorite all-time sports game has to be NFL 2K5. And as far as basketball, the 2K series, hands down. Even though, excuse me, the last time that I played NBA 2K was 2K7. It's been some time ago, but the reason that I had stopped playing sports games was because EA had left just a real horrible taste in my mouth with with their practices as far as purchasing exclusive contracts to eliminate competition because they got lazy and complacent, sitting out and recycling the same game. But the only difference would be every year there's a new gimmick with the right analog stick.
Yep, yeah, it does seem that way.
So for a while I had stopped playing them, but overall, yeah, NFL 2K5. I mean, still nothing touches it. I mean, in my opinion, to this day, nothing felt quite like 2K5 did. And as far as presentation, the commentary, the overlays, the screens, the stats, all of it, it was like, like damn, really,
They had that's the one with To on the cover, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They had like Chris Berman and ESPN and stuff like their like pregame show like type thing.
This is it right here. Boom.
That's the one.
Yeah, I actually, just because we were talking about 2K, and I would actually agree. I think 2K or the Sega series of football games is pretty much where it's at. And it started with John Madden, or I'm sorry, not John Madden, but Joe Montana in like 1990, and they did 92, and then NFL 94 came out with Joe Montana in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform on the cover. And then
at least it was still red, right?
Then they did primetime football with Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oddly enough, after that, they jumped to the Sega Saturn, did NFL 97. So this game is not very good. I've tried to love it. I played through a whole season back in the day. Oh my God, it was that awkward like introduction to like the 32-bit era where it's half polygons and half sprites. Oh, it was awful. It was so bad that they actually wound up coming out with NFL 98 back on the Genesis instead.
The baseball game was actually pretty good on Sega Saturn, though.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. And then after 98, we didn't get a football game in 99 because that was that weird transition year. And boom, we had all the good ones. 2K with Randy Moss on the cover. 2K1 with Randy Moss on the cover. 2K2 with Randy Moss on the fucking cover. And finally we got Urlacher, Nigel's favorite one, 2K3.
Yeah.
And then Warren Sapp with 2K4.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the man T.O. on 2K5.
That's the one.
2K5 is amazing. I do actually have All Pro Football 2K8 as well, which is a really good football game, but it lost all of the complete customization, all of the simulation of the 2K series was just wiped out, and they focused purely on the football physics, which were really good. The gameplay was excellent, the online community was excellent, but they completely skimped out on everything else, and I think that turned just about everyone off. And I haven't probably picked it up in 5 years or more. I just haven't played it much. Once Backbreaker came out, I actually really got hooked on that, and I gotta admit, Backbreaker is really good. It has wonderful tackle physics. It's got a great run game, really fun schemes on defense. The passing game's pretty bad, but I'd say 90% of my time playing Backbreaker is playing Tackle Alley. It's pretty fun.
I remember that, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, Tackle Alley's good. But so okay, some of your favorite game franchises of all time. What was like the first sports games you guys can remember playing?
Oh man, when I was coming up, it was always fighting games for me in the first place, and I used to just kind of look down and just kind of scoff at people who played sports games, mainly because I felt like people who played sports games competitively hardcore, that's the only thing they stuck to because they couldn't quite handle fighting games. Boss, yeah, I said that, but but it wasn't until it came out on Dreamcast. It wasn't until the NFL 2K started coming out on Dreamcast, and it was just like, and of course I had a Dreamcast, obviously, and those games' presentation, as far as the commentary and the graphics, I remember it making headlines one year when it came out, where they were saying that the games were becoming more and more photorealistic and looking like television and everything, and that's what kind of made me, all right, you know what? Let me look at this. All right, this actually looks pretty fun, and I got NFL 2K. Then I ended up getting NBA 2K that same year, and I was just like, wow, I can't believe that I'm having fun with sports games. This is not my style, none whatsoever. Okay, I'm a fighting game player, all right? I mean, I'm not supposed to have fun with sports games other than NBA Jam or NFL Blitz. Like, I'm actually having a good time with a sports simulator.
Nice.
And it was, yeah, I mean, of course, I played Tecmo Bowl. I mean, whatever, those don't really count. Those were kind of like, arcade style football. It was fun to play.
Oh,
But
those
as far
count.
as,
Those
yeah,
count.
yeah, right, especially part three, yeah. But as far as overall, like, that form, 3D, football, it was the 2K games that wrapped me in, and like it even made me want to give, the modern day at the time, Madden's a shot, but I just wasn't feeling them. I mean, that's what turned me off about Madden was same thing you mentioned earlier, the the pinball physics, boom, boom, just kind of bounce off one another, and then when they finally get tackled, they have this weird animation where you see the guy dive out, and then there's a hitbox there apparently because the guy goes down, and the tackle animation for the ball carrier looks like he got shot in the back of both of his knees and go flat down to the ground. That's what it looks like, and it was like, what the hell is this? People play this shit, So, it was 2K ever since then for me.
Yeah. I remember when NFL 2K first came out in Dreamcast, it was a launch title with the Dreamcast that year.
Hmm.
And I remember hooking it up in my parents' living room. I had it over there, and I was playing NFL 2K. I was playing the Packers versus whoever. And my dad kind of walking through, and he was like half asleep. He looks at the TV, he's like, the game's on?
Right?
I'm like, oh no, this is a video game. He's like, oh my God, you're kidding me. He thought it was the game. Maybe he didn't have his glasses on or everything, but like you're saying, the presentation, the game, the footage, the
Yeah.
way that it has the menus and everything, coming up with the commentators are actually talking about other games going on and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That was so crazy when that came out. It was just out of this world.
That's fair. For me, I guess the first major sports game I can remember playing was actually, I remember for my birthday getting this game called NFL Quarterback Club, and it was like
I remember that.
and
Those
it
weren't
had
bad.
Brett
Those weren't bad
Favre on the
games.
cover,
Mhm.
and I loved that game. I had Brett Favre, Reggie White. Oh man, the Packers were loaded.
Yes,
So I
yes.
remember. I guess that's kind of. I remember that fond memory. And I guess as far as going back to my high school years, I remember. Me and my friend Brett. We had 2-a-day football practices, and I remember going to his house after football practice and playing Madden 2003 that had Marshall Falk on the cover. Like, I remember going to football practice and coming over to his house and just playing Madden just the entire afternoon. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just, if it's a football game, I'm probably gonna like it.
That's awesome. My first gaming experience with sports games probably were baseball games, but like as far as most memorable, I remember playing Tecmo Bowl. I remember playing like the Madden games on the Genesis and things like that. But even before that, the first football game I ever owned was actually John Elway Quarterback on the NES, made by Tradewest, and it is
Quarterback
not.
Club.
Yeah, it is not a very good football game at all. But I have to credit it to actually getting me interested in it because all my older brothers and sisters were interested in football. My dad watched football every Sunday, and I tried to watch it a couple of times, and I just couldn't get into it. I was like third grade. I didn't understand the sport at all. And so I remember my mom and I went to like a Pomida or some other big box store like a Walmart or something, and there was John Elway Quarterback in this like clearance bin for $14, and my mom's like, do you want a new video game? And I said, sure, this is awesome, football. And I got it home, and I had no idea what I was doing, but the more I played it, the more I learned the sport itself, and it kind of taught me how to play the game. I was able to figure out what the line of scrimmage meant. I had no idea what first down even meant. I had no idea what, any of these things that you kind of take for granted that you know now. I was like, 9 years old learning football via, John Elway Quarterback. And after I spent a couple weekends up in my room playing that game, I actually came down and I'm like watching football, and it actually got me into it. And I credit that. I credit that old Nintendo game for teaching me how to play football. It was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
What about some games that are like maybe not necessarily sports? Like what about pro wrestling or even like you were talking about like UFC or type of fighting games like that? Can you consider those like sports since like even if wrestling is fake and it is like put on choreographed like
It's real to me, damn it. Wrestling is real to me.
but the
Don't you
game
dare
is
say
all
that.
about the game is about combat and putting moves on and and things like that. So it's kind of more wrestling-esque, isn't it? Or no?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a sports game per se. It's kind of like a fine line. That's kind of like Vince McMahon calling it sports entertainment. But I mean, yeah, the wrestling games were indeed fun. Some of my favorites were the WCW from I'm going way back. Like WCW on the original Nintendo. Um,
Oh
the
wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
with the meter, the power up moves, and
Yep.
it didn't feature a traditional grappling, well, what was then traditional at the time, where you get close and you do the, uh, tie and collar, lock up, and everything. But no, it was you had to stun them with strikes first, and that's I suppose that game had footsies before Street Fighter even had coined the term footsies, because you had to find the right spot, for your punches and kicks, and uh, what you see is what you get. So you couldn't just throw out blows for the sake of throwing them out. They had to be spaced correctly in order for them to make contact. So if you did
Yep.
a drop kick and you were too close, you're just gonna whiff and boom, you're right on the mat. Like, oh, there you go. But moving forward, yeah, I don't. For some reason, oh yeah, the WWF Raw games on Super Nintendo, Doink the Clown and Undertaker, and then forward you had the WWF in your house and WrestleMania the arcade game. Those were pretty fun. Um, and of course, you cannot talk about classic wrestling games with bringing up the Nintendo 64 wrestling games, such as WWF No Mercy and what was the other? I think No Mercy was the last one, wasn't it?
No Mercy
Was that the
was the
last one that
last
came out?
one. Yeah, THQ
That was
and
the
I
last one. Yeah,
think it was Jax and THQ.
Jax.
They
Yeah,
did
it was Jax.
they did
Um,
WWF No Mercy and then WrestleMania 2000 before that, and then before that was WCW
yes,
NW Revenge, which was really good too.
Revenge. Yep. And those were the games that started it all. And there was such the perfect, wrestling engine that
Yeah.
EA went and copied it for their Def Jam games.
Oh,
Hmm.
I
That's that
remember
damn
those.
EA again. Yeah, that damn EA again. It was like, God forbid anybody else competes with them. But they were gonna take everybody else's idea and try to jump into the arena, no pun intended, and make a wrestling game with rappers. It's like, oh, but you don't want anybody to compete with you. See, again, that's that love-hate relationship. It's a bitter taste in my mouth that EA went and did that. I'm gonna tell you exactly why EA did what they did with the exclusive NFL contract, and it wasn't for uh, oh, that's because Madden was better. That's why they got the NFL contract. No, I'm about to hurt somebody's feelings with this. I'm gonna
We're
tell
gonna
you
talk.
why.
We're gonna go into EA now. We're gonna do
Oh
this.
yeah,
Okay, let's
we're
do it.
gonna do
Let's
this.
do this. Oh
I'm
my
going
God.
in. I am about to go ham, egg, and cheese on EA right about now. So somebody watching this video about to get their feelings hurt. Real talk. I'm gonna tell you why EA did that. They were scared of 2K. They were scared of 2K beating the hell out of their cash cow. The only game practically for them that makes money besides Battlefield, but that wasn't until later. But they were afraid of a franchise coming and challenging their cash cow, which was Madden. For EA, August was Black Friday for EA. Okay, so here it is. 2K5 came out. We all remember that summer. Came out $20. It was a anniversary special. Chris Berman, we all know that. And then like we are talking about a little while before, he said, EA says, oh, you can give that game away for free with a ham sandwich and nobody still want it. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, those games were flying off the shelves
Yeah.
at $20. Okay, less than half the price of Madden, and it was way better than Madden.
Yeah.
That summer belonged to 2K5. All right, that summer belonged to 2K5. EA was seeing this, And if EA was really so confident about, 2K5 not performing very well, dig this. We all remember that price drop, right? $29.99. That came down from $50, and they dropped it down to $29.99 just to, attempt to, sell some units, and compete with 2K5. 2K5 ran game that year. Okay, it wasn't even a few months later, that I think LaDainian Tomlinson was getting ready to be on 2K6. LaDainian Tomlinson, he was slated to be on the cover of 2K6, and then all of a sudden, boom! This bombshell happens. EA has purchased the rights to exclusive NFL content, licensed game. What?
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait, what? Okay, again, like I said, they were afraid of 2K challenging their throne because 2K was already, let's on the basketball side too. 2K was already starting to make a name for itself with the basketball games. Already starting to, put their foot on NBA Live's throat. Already, stomping the hell out of them. That had began over a decade ago. EA saw this, but they weren't so much worried about NBA Live as they were Madden. That's their cash cow. They had to protect that, so they went to the NFL, and they were stupid. In my opinion, the NFL was very, very dumb for signing that contract. With EA. EA went with an obscene amount of money, obviously, to get them to say, "Hey, we're going to sign exclusive to you guys, even though you didn't have the best-selling football game last year." Okay.
Right.
And what EA did, was like, oh, well, see, these guys don't believe in their product. They're selling their games at $20 a pop. Oh, see, that was the first and only time that 2K had ever done that, and it was truly indeed just to celebrate. Was it the 25th ESPN anniversary? That's all it was. It wasn't like 2K was hurting for any money. I mean, they was like, here you go. We got a great game for you. $20. Go ahead and get it. And
yeah, they were doing that a few. Sega was actually doing that with a few of their titles. It wasn't just NFL 2K 5.
Yes.
It was actually Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution was also 1999 when that first came out.
Yeah,
and that was
exactly.
part of that summer. It was the 20-year anniversary
Evolution. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution was $20 when it came out. Yep, brand spanking new, $20, and it was part of that anniversary deal. So it wasn't, because they weren't, they weren't able to sell a game. No, that certainly wasn't the case because 2K4 also did well the previous year, and 2K5 was an improvement, by far and beyond everything that 2K4 had laid the groundwork for. Everything that 2K4 started was improved upon by 2K15. I'm sorry, 2K5, and it was actually just going to go and get better and better and better, at the rate that they were going, which was evident in the NBA series. So, if you want to, take the rate of progression that, the 2K games were, they got better every year. Every year, it wasn't just, oh, we got a new move with the right analog stick.
Yeah.
And then they called it a new game. You know what EA did after they got that license, though? Let's look at this. Once they got rid of that competition, they went from $29.99 to $49.99, and for 2K, for 2006, and then on the next gen consoles, it was $59. They jacked the price back up. Why? Because there's no competition. Of course, they ended up getting a class action lawsuit for that one. But you know what they did with that exclusive license? Just to say, hey, you know what? We ain't got to try no more. We can do some bullshit now. We're going to give you Madden Flashlight Edition, with the 2006. Okay, so it was like, what the hell? The Division come? What the hell? I mean, so you went from truck stick and juke and then all this and that, and evasion tactics, to look around with the flashlight. And you see how fast they scrapped that. The next year they got rid of that.
Yep. It did.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, EA just had to get rid of them because they weren't doing anything. And 2K were coming out with innovation after innovation each and every year on their games. So Madden got stagnant for a long, long time. Madden didn't actually improve until, or show any signs of improvement until 2010. That was the first time Madden had shown sign of progress or improvement on anything. Say, hey, you got the exclusive license. You ain't doing nothing different with it. You're just adding a different move with the analog stick here and there. Oh, you can run zone with this, and oh, great. fifth. No, I'm sorry. What's that? The one that came out in 2013. That one showed promise. It looked like they were starting to try and take a couple of elements from NFL 2K5, by trying to tone down on the pinball physics and actually, get into, some swim maneuvers, for your defensive line and everything, and but it's still didn't measure up. That's crazy to say that 11 years later, the game still does not measure up to the 2K5 games and what they had laid down. So, and now we're going to jump on NBA Live, and again, somebody's feelings about to get hurt. This is 2015, and this is the year of everybody being offended by something. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a hashtag all sports games matters after this, okay? NBA Live, like I said, had been getting pissed on for over a decade. Ever since, 2K came out, they got better and better and better to the point where, they started to catch up and overtake NBA Live, and they got to the point where they couldn't do it anymore. EA actually dropped NBA Live for 2 years. Then one year they came back. I remember this is a true story. We had it was NBA 2K10. I think that's the one with Kobe on the cover, and NBA Live 2010, and that's the one that what's this guy Smush or Parker, Tony Parker. My fault. Okay, and
Yep.
So we had the collector's edition, 2K10 and everything, big box and everything. We had, at this particular GameStop in Chicago where I was at, we had over 400 pre-orders for NBA 2K10, right? So everybody's there in line at midnight. We sold 0, and I'm not even exaggerating, 0 copies of NBA Live at that midnight release. And then we thought there was something wrong. We were checking the cameras. Did somebody steal NBA Live or anything? Like, no, it's just nobody really bought it. Like, nobody walked out of that store with a copy of NBA Live. They were sitting right there, untouched. Nobody bought it. EA dropped out, and they came back and they say, hey, we're going to, come back this year, and we're going to retool the game from the ground up. This is not going to be the same NBA Live that you remember. It's going to be remade from the ground up. Damn, took you long enough to stop recycling the same damn games over and over and over again, and charging people full price for it. And unfortunately, the idiots were, running out there and buying it every year, not realizing, hey, we're selling you the same game with a roster update and maybe a little extra polish on the lighting on the floor. He said,
Yep, that's this guy right here.
He said, I did it. He said,
every year.
Yeah, he said, I sipped the Kool-Aid. I ain't gonna lie. But so with NBA Live, they came out and they were gonna drop in the classic NBA Jam, to go with the game in order to help boost the sales and boost interest in it. Well, that didn't exactly work. Hardly any pre-orders, if any at all, and they ended up canceling that game that year. So here it is. They have this NBA Jam, remake classic, which really wasn't much of a classic because all they did was take it and reskinned it, with newer, players like LeBron James and everything. But it's, practically, same game with like a slight touch of polish, and it didn't quite have the same feel to it. And so the game that they were going to give away for free, again, this is EA. This shows you that EA really didn't care about anything other than trying to make $1. They didn't care about the sports gaming culture or the people who played the sports games. They didn't care about the customer that was going out there spending that bread, every year, to come and play these games. They were just like, hey, as long as they buying it, we're going to keep slinging it. Sell more, make some more. We're going to sell them the same game with a slight graphical tweak and a new move on the right analog stick and call it brand new and with a roster update. Okay. So here it is. They're sitting on NBA Jam. So since we don't have a game to put out with it, we're going to sell this classic that we were going to give for free for $50. $49.99. Not $59. Oh, it's not full price, but they sold it to you for $50. Then eventually down to $39. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? $40 for a reskinned NBA Jam, a game that can be practically run on any emulator. and re-edit it, okay, and they're selling it to you for $50. Oh, but wait, we're gonna add online play. Hey, guess what? A lot of our emulators have online play. You know, and you know what? People went for it because they sold NBA Jam on the legacy, on the name of NBA Jam. Because everybody, at the, under the age of 25, at least remembers hearing about NBA Jam, or at least even got their hands on it, so they know what it was, and they bought it just based on, legacy, but they didn't care. NBA Live tried to come out one more time as they figure, okay, maybe if we drop a couple years out of the limelight and then we let people give people a chance to miss us, we'll come back and do it. Nope, sorry. And you know what? NBA 2K is the king of the hill without having to buy an exclusive NBA contract. As a matter of fact, EA did approach the NBA. They did approach the NBA, try to get an exclusive contract. They were desperate. But you know what? I think it was this guy. Stern was commissioner at the time. They approached it and with this contract, and they told him to say, you know, the NFL was stupid, for actually signing that exclusive deal. Two, you're not even the best-selling basketball game right now at all. Why would we sign an exclusive deal with you? And three, we make more money if there's more than one product out there in the first place. So why would we sign an exclusive deal with you, EA? No,
Exactly.
no, go, bye-bye. You cannot have exclusivity. It's not going to happen. And EA ended up getting stomped in the ground because they just cannot stand up to 2K games. And like I said, hats off to 2K for doing it the right way, and not having to go and do it with a contract, saying, oh, we're going to eliminate the competition. Now, another contract that was interesting, because EA started this. I'm going to say this one more again. EA started this shit. Baseball had a kind of different exclusive contract of its own. This is what Sony did. They say, okay, we're not going to lock down, MLB exclusivity or anything like that. We're not trying to shit on any of our third-party partners or anything. But we want to be the only first-party console that can make MLB content. We want to be only first-party developer that can put out MLB games. That is why games like was it the MLB 2K? Yeah, they call them 2K. Yeah,
Yep.
The 2K games still exist. It's because they weren't trying to eliminate competition. They were just saying, okay, all right, EA started this shit now. They did this shit, all right? But they say, all right, you know what? Because we don't want to, stop making our, MLB The Show games, which are doing pretty well. And right now, as it stands, I mean, as much as I love 2K, 2K makes a great baseball game, but MLB The Show is that game for baseball.
Yeah. If you're a baseball fan, I can definitely speak. I've had a couple of the shows on the PS3, and yeah, they're. I mean, I like. I mean, I know they're something that Sony exclusively puts a lot of money into to come out with that every year, and they do a very good job with that game.
Oh yeah, indeed. Have you played that one, Josh? The shows?
No. Nope.
Ooh,
I
you're missing
haven't.
out, bro. You're missing out. Oh yeah, I mean, but yeah, Sony put their foot in that game every year, and it's definitely not a series that you can sit there and say, oh, this plays exactly the same as last year. Hey, look, a new right analog stick move. No, they don't play that. They didn't pull an EA and just sit on their haunches and say, hey, we don't really have to try anymore because we out here now. We got that. So that's like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of uh, sports games, anymore because of that, because there's a whole lot of, BS in it. Though I do have, UFC. I mean, at one point in time, I did, go on a personal crusade and refused at on any given Sunday, which I love that movie, by the way, best football movie on the planet, to ever even consider buying an EA game, at all because of that. It was just like, no, I'm not supporting that shit,
Yeah.
But I do enjoy the UFC game, simply because I'm a martial artist myself, and it's the only other UFC game out there other than the ones that THQ put out, which it ended up selling everything off and going under and doing their thing, closing its doors. Gonna miss you. But yeah, for a long time I could not stand EA and their bullshit practices. I mean, and it was because of that right there. And I know that sound petty and everything, but it's like let's be real. I mean, as a gamer, I felt like that company did not really care about gamers and the culture of gaming. Period. Only thing they was worried about was making that guap. And I suppose as a business, what's a business's objective? To make that bread. Okay, I will give you that. You made that money. But at the cost of respect. Respect goes a long way, Jack. And if don't nobody respect you, you ain't clocking no bread from them. And that's exactly what happened with NBA Live. Nobody respected that franchise anymore.
Yep.
And they weren't selling it.
I think EA going for that exclusive contract with the NFL, it was exactly the same for me. I don't necessarily think I boycott them, and I think that I did for a while though, similar to what you did.
I did.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just like you said. They saw their basketball franchise started to slip into second place, third place. I mean, they have hockey games that are pretty popular, but there's competition. So if they have 50% of the market, that's only 50% of the market. And Madden was their that was their bread and butter. That was the absolute king of everything they had, and they had to protect that as much as they could. And the thing, it makes sense for EA. It makes sense. Like they pay a gazillion dollars for this thing. They have exclusive rights to the only NFL licensed game that comes out yearly. For the NFL, I just don't get it. Like, how can this make any sense for the NFL? Like, there used to be so many options to football games. If you were on the Sony platform, you had a Blitz game every year. You had NFL Game Day. You had NFL 2K. You had the Quarterback Club. At a time when the Quarterback Club's games were coming out, and you had Madden. And it was like there were so many options. Football season when that came around in July and early August. Tecmo Bowl came out. Yeah, there was like so many different franchises, and you got to think the NFL was making tons of money off that. Even if EA was paying more, than two of those combined, it still made sense for multiple NFL games to come out every year, at least to have options. Competition is always a good thing, and that's just so weird.
Competition is what makes games better because they're forced to say, hey, we need to do something different because these guys over here killing it. Okay, but
exactly. Yeah, I don't understand how.
Why?
Yeah, and why is it that we're sitting here still with that exclusive contract getting extended every time it comes up? Like that.
I believe they make quota every year. They make their quota. If I feel like if Madden ever got to the point where people realized that it was getting stagnant and stale and started to slip, they'll lose their grip on that exclusive contract. And you know what's going to happen? Which is why they push the hell out of Madden every year, and they make sure that it's a household name every year. If Madden were ever to lose that exclusive license and 2K step back on the scene, and I will put my name on this. If my name ain't Fame, all right? If 2K were to step back on the scene with an NFL football game, the first year that they do it, they will knock Madden completely out of the water. I would call that. I'm calling that. I mean, and I'm not saying that just because I'm a fan of 2K games, because like I said, I haven't played a sports game since in years, especially a football game. I haven't played a football game in years. All right, but if you want to look at the track record and the quality and the amount of work that goes into their sports games, because 2K has become a respected, franchise in the sports genre. Okay, the amount of work that they put in, they are no slouch, and I guarantee you, they would not take it for granted, that they, can make an NFL football game again. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a football engine right now, and they tweaking it every year, just sitting on the sideline waiting for the chance to put it out.
EA still works with Visual Concepts. I believe they're the developers that made the NFL 2K games on the Dreamcast, and they when the exclusive contract was re-signed in 2015, prior to that, that's this year, in 2014, 2K Sports licensed the name licensed the named Joe Montana Football.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
So they registered.
yeah. Yeah, they registered the license for Joe Montana Football, the license for it, and there was a lot of rumors going around. No screenshots ever came out. I don't think anything was ever really finalized or anything maybe even was ever developed for it. But I think they are, on the ready for whenever that contract with the NFL ever expires, when they're able to actually step in and make another football game. I don't think they would jump in without an agreement with the NFL. It's really strange. Like, this whole football scenario is really messed up because EA does have a contract with college football, right?
Yep.
But don't come out with games. They do not release games. The only reason
they also have a contract with AFL. They basically wanted to cut off every avenue that 2K could have for making a football game to show that they could make a better football game. They cut off every avenue.
Well, now no one can make college football games anymore. So.
Right. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
The NCAA
stepped in on that, yeah. But, they even went and locked up the AFL. The AFL, really? You that desperate to keep your competition out of there? And they put out a single AFL game just for the sake of doing something with the license. Just for the sake, hey, we did an AFL game. We don't care if it doesn't work out or not. We're just going to recycle the NFL, Madden engine that we have. We're going to put that on there and change the graphics in the arena a little bit, change up the rules, and call it a game. All right, we put out an AFL game just to keep 2K out of the game for football.
Yep, I played the arena football game. That I played as the Milwaukee Iron.
Right. Now, you know what I really would have loved to have seen, though? Had it survived, if Vince McMahon hadn't fucked it up and tried to turn it into WWE, but I really would have loved to have seen an XFL game. Hell to the yes.
I remember that.
I would have loved to have played an XFL game, man. Chicago Enforcers, Dick Butkus. I mean, come on, man. Like, it was a perfect fit, but then, like, the backstage skits and the cheerleader, drama and everything. Bruh, Vince, stop trying to inject. We know that you run WWE. We know this is you. Stop trying to inject WWE into this XFL thing. Let it be its own thing. People know, like, the networks didn't even take it seriously because of the appearances by Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and all this and that. We get it. You're Vince McMahon. You're with the WWE. We get it.
Yeah.
But you had something here, right here. You killed it with trying to cross promote.
Yep.
Come on, man. Vince killed the XFL. Yeah, Vince killed the XFL.
Unfortunately for you guys, I don't think, and for me too, I guess, but I don't think that, unfortunately, Madden's going anywhere. I think EA is going to keep I think the EA and NFL deal is just, like you said, it just keeps renewing. Whereas before, like, I definitely know what you're talking about, where they tried, like, gimmicks, like, every year to try and get, like, the new thing, and, now your quarterback has a cone that you can see, and stupid stuff like that. I do have to really admit that the latest Madden, like, they've rather than introducing features like that, they've been, like, for example, like Madden Ultimate Team. That honestly, all that is it's like an RPG but for sports guys. Like, that's
fantasy
what it is.
Football. Yeah,
it really is. And now they introduced this new thing this year called Draft Champions, where you go through like a 15-round mock draft, and you get like 3 random players to choose from, and you essentially build the team the way you think it's important. Like, if you value an offensive lineman over a skill position, etc. And then they throw in like legendary players, so they have like John Elway, and they have Barry Sanders and LaDainian Tomlinson, etc. Like,
interesting.
It's very interesting, and I'll be the first to admit the gameplay not the greatest, but I don't know, the stuff like that I think is probably what keeps me engaged, anyways, at this point. Oh, and I'm a sucker for the latest roster updates, so.
Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much what they are. $60 roster updates.
Can you get roster updates on like older versions though?
uh, up
That's
to
a
the
good question.
to the previous year.
I think you can correct, up
Yeah,
until the previous year.
hmm
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So
Yeah,
like trying to get a roster update on 2010, mm-mm.
not
They
gonna happen.
kill the servers off of those, right?
Yeah, how is the in the new Madden games, how is the create a team? Is there a create a team feature, create like a city or like an expansion team?
You can relocate a team. You
hmm
can't just straight up like I remember actually back in the day and what I remember back in the day in some of the old football games that you could actually create a team. Um,
Yeah,
I think it might have been back in that NFL quarterback club. I think you could create a team and you could essentially you'd kick out a different team
hell,
and
even
you would
backbreaker you can make a team.
yeah.
Backbreaker, you can make the entire NFL, and it is
Yep.
it's so specific that they want you to do that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Really?
They allow you to make 32 teams. That's all you can make is 32 teams. So you can
Yep.
make a league of 32 teams. You can name the league. You can make the logo for the league. You can
hmm
make the divisions, and there's 4 divisions per conference.
Wow.
Yep.
It's and you can download off of their servers. You can download
User created
pre-made
team, pre-made
user-created
teams.
teams. And
Wow,
so
that's
if you
Yep.
awesome.
Yep, there's expansions usually every year. And the most recent one I think is called NFL Backbreaker 2K16.
Oh, they still doing updates for those? Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's called Grindhouse number 3, I think is what it's called, or whatever that.
Grindhouse patch. That was the infamous patch that fixed
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
I think it was the third one. Yeah, Grindhouse. Yeah, that. Oh, you know what? You're gonna make me want to pick up Backbreaker now. It's probably like what, $3 at
It's like
GameStop?
99 cents. Yeah,
99 cents. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for that because the Xbox One just announced like backwards compatibility, and if I ever found Backbreaker popping up on that list, which I doubt it ever would, I would be really stoked to be able to play that on the new Xbox. It'd be pretty sweet.
And streaming it.
Yes, that would be pretty sweet. But
Mhm.
no, yeah, you can make the entire NFL. You can also make all of the players. I think you can just make their names and their numbers, or like their last name and their numbers, but you can't make anything too crazy with like their facial features or anything like that. But
Right, not the facial features. You can do skin tone,
yep,
and basic. You can make them black, white, Guatemalan, whatever, But
yep,
you couldn't like go into full detail in the facial features or everything like that. But you could design the logo right down to a T. I saw some
yeah.
pretty good logos. Especially
Oh
for the
god.
Chicago Bears. I'm a Bears fan, so I mean, I have to represent. But it was pretty good. I was like, I'm actually impressed, with this game, and the passing game needed work. I mean, it looked like they started to fix it, in the later versions. But yeah, it did suffer in the beginning. And you know what? Was another thing that 2K innovated and started doing something different? First person football.
Yeah, they did
Madden
that too
has yet
before.
to
It's true.
do it.
That's true.
Yep.
I remember that.
Madden has yet to do it or even attempt it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Matt, are you familiar with Backbreaker at all, like on the passing game, how it worked?
Not really. I remember playing either the demo or
Yeah.
I think it was the demo they had, and they had that tackling mode you were talking about.
hmm
Tackle Alley is really fun.
Yeah, Tackle Alley. That's
Yeah, it's basically like Red Rover with tackling. But the passing thing is so different than any other football game. It's even like a step back from like 16-bit football games. It's
Where you had to look towards your receiver with the analog
I
stick
think
before
it
you could
was
pass it. Yeah.
it was like the L trigger. It was one of the triggers. So you had to go back, and when you go back and you're in the pocket, you have two options. You can pass or
Mhm.
run. You have to
Right.
select what you're going to do there. It's like B or A.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
push A, then you're in pass mode. You can
Mhm.
switch back to run mode by pushing B again. But if you're in pass mode, then you have all your receivers running out there, right?
Mhm.
And you can't just throw the ball to X or R
You
or
had to look in
Y.
that direction.
You have to look in that direction and click the L trigger, and the L trigger switches from receiver option 1 to option 2 to option 3 to option 4. And by
Right.
that time, you're sacked. Like, you're
Right.
gone. Like, there is no way to get a hang of that. And I tried so hard. when I played that game, I was winning games like 14-10 every week,
Mm.
and I had like 300 yards rushing and 7 yards passing because it's just impossible to pass in that game. I had a hard time.
When you did complete a pass at all, especially more than 10 yards, you felt like you had
I was
won
like,
the freaking
holy
Super Bowl.
shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I just threw a pass and he caught it. Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really rough. But they had that messed up so bad. I don't know why they went with that direction. They should just copied, whatever at 2K or Madden or whatever. But I don't know what it was, but they went in that mode and oh my god, it was
They
so
wanted
hard.
to give you the feel for, having your quarterback's head on a swivel and looking back and forth.
Right.
They could have easily pulled that off, with the right analog stick, looking left and
Just
right.
looking around, yeah. Yep.
They could have done that, but again, missed opportunity. But yeah, you're right. The physics, the collision detection, it was second to none. Like, what was it? The Havoc engine. I think that's what it was. Havoc.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
that's what they called it. Yeah, they built an engine specifically for football and specifically for like breaking tackles. It was awesome.
And they used the same engine in Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you're running by and you see a dude like diving at your legs, and he doesn't just fall and miss you. He's like one of his hands will grab onto your ankle and you'll start dragging him. Like, it's so crazy how awesome that is. It'll slow you down.
Always go down. It'll slow you down, but it won't always bring you down, right? No two tackle animations were the same. That was, oh man, that game was a beauty to watch.
It was crazy ragdoll physics. When you got like a good 3 or 4 person tackle, like it was just awesome. You could literally get hit by like all 11 players at the same time.
Dude, just be broke. Like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. But okay, so I think we've gone through like our favorite sports franchises. We've gone through a whole bunch of stuff about the first games that we played that were sports games. We talked a little bit about some other franchises, like we talked about EA. We gave them a little bit of a tongue lashing, and Matt's still going to buy NFL Madden 2017, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you betcha. I'll be there day one it comes out.
Day one. You are the problem. You
I
are
can't help
the problem.
Dude, if you knew how many hours I play Madden, it's pretty ridiculous.
Are there any other topics that you guys can think of that you'd like to talk about? Now, are you guys both? I assume you both have the Xbox One.
I have both, Xbox One and a PS4. So I'm unbiased. I have no bias. The whole thing that we talked about, EA and wiping out competition, I have no bias. I think competition is great because it forces everyone to make better products.
Nigel, did you just put yourself on mute? I think you put yourself on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Oh, yep, you're good. You're
good. There we go. All right. Yeah, I have the PS4 and PC and Vita. I cannot touch an Xbox console. I mean, I play PC, not a problem, but there's no reason for me to have a TV box. You know what I mean? Like, especially when all the multi-platform games perform way better on the PS4. The PS4 has the better exclusives. I mean, I'm not really a Halo fan, so that doesn't appeal to me at all. And Gears of War, no, I'm good. I got Uncharted. I mean, I'll take that over Gears of War any day. But other than that, I mean, there's just not much on the Xbox or 360 or the Xbox One that appeal to me at all. What was that game? Sunset Overdrive was like a
that was made by the people that made Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, that was like a
more importantly,
puke of
no. Sunset Overdrive is actually a really good game. It's from the makers of Jet Set Radio. And it's very similar, and it's got some really good gameplay elements. It's very much M for mature though, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for me because that's the type of game that I think has got like gameplay elements that is more just kind of quirky and fun, and you should be able to play with like kids, and everybody should be able to play with it. But they threw a lot of swears and like gory things and just ridiculous things just to put it over the top so that it would be like M for mature, because that look on a cover on a game, M for mature sells copies versus T for teen. So
yeah, I just feel like the Xbox One is nothing to do. Again, has nothing to do with gaming or gamers or anything. Their whole flagship feature was you can watch TV at the same time while you're playing a video game. The fuck I want to do that for? If I wanted to watch TV, I mean, click. I'm gonna hit my input button and I'm on my television screen. If I'm playing a video game, this is just me personally. I know there's a lot of people out there that want to do the excess, just for the sake of doing it. If I really wanted to, watch TV and play a game at the same time, I would have a TV over there and have my game monitor right there. Or I'll just set up 2 monitors and put Netflix on one and have my game on the other one. But it's like, TV.
I think we could save. I think we could save the console wars conversation for a whole entire episode.
Oh,
yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be a fun one. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one.
But I agree, though. I think that the PlayStation 4 is definitely a superior machine to the Xbox One. It seems like they've got a lot of exclusives right now that are really hot. I think that Street Fighter V, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and later next year.
Is that Final Fantasy VII Remake an exclusive?
No.
I don't think it is. I don't think they said it was exclusively for Sony.
No, it's coming out for Xbox One and PS4.
I will say.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I did not.
I remember looking really hardcore for them to say like exclusively on PlayStation 4 when they announced it. Nothing.
No, that's going to be multi-platform.
Yeah, I agree.
The only thing out of what he just named so far is Street Fighter V, and oh my God, the Xbox camp is upset at that. But it's like, you know what? Microsoft did it to themselves. If Microsoft had not played the TV game, they would have been selling globally.
Well, there's a few things that kind of shot themselves in the foot. That was the E3 from like 2013 that really screwed them up.
Yeah, they
but
that was funny.
The kicker for me is, well, my kids really wanted to get an Xbox One. They love the Halos. They got Titanfall. There's some other games that they really enjoy, and that's fine. And it was a better deal at the time. At least for me, it was $100 cheaper. Came with a couple games in it, and we still have a good time with it. It's a fun system. It's a good. Kids love it. It's constantly getting played. It's just fine. But what's really got the kicker for me is in 2016, I absolutely have got to buy a PS4 because Shenmue fucking 3 is coming out, and that. I don't know. I don't know if I have to put a 2-week notice to work because I don't know if I'm going to be able to leave my TV. When that comes out.
I plan on calling in that day of release. I'm putting PTO in. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm gone. I mean, what's going on? Family emergency. Yeah, someone killed my father, and I have to find him. I've been trying to find him for a long, long time, and I finally got a lead, so I'm going traveling, and I have to do this. I got to do this. But wait a minute. Fame? Are you going to be all right? This must be done. They killed my father right in front of me.
Did you see any sailors?
Right? With tattoos.
With tattoos. The day the rain turned to snow?
Right. Oh, man, I cannot wait for that game. It's been too long. You know what? I honestly thought that I would never see that game in my lifetime, a part 3. I was really starting to lose hope. I ain't gonna lie. But when Sony's E3, the lights went out and I heard that theme song, I marked the hell out. Like, I was laying down, long day at work, and then I was just watching the stream. And then I heard that, do 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 do. I'm like, wait, the hell? And then lights started to come back on. I'm like, that can't be it. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then all of a sudden there's Shenhua.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
You got to be fucking kidding me. It's like, whoa, this is happening. Shit. And then I'm watching the Kickstarter. I was literally clicking on that Kickstarter every day.
Yeah.
Every day, and just watching it go up and up and up. I was like, yes. Like, oh.
Well, they hit their mark by 24 hours or 12 hours or something.
In 12 hours, yeah, they hit their mark.
Hours.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's so exciting. I couldn't believe it. I actually wound up, Tasha watched me, and she was like, your reaction to that was so funny, because I almost had a tear in my eye.
Yeah.
Like I jumped up and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, me too. I was just like, man, like I know y'all watching this at home. Like, wait, this big guy. Yes, okay, yeah. I was like, man, I straight marked, geeked, all of the above, just straight up geeked out. I don't care. I'll admit it. You want to laugh at me? We're gonna talk. You see this here? Yeah. But I had my moment. All right, I'm allowed that. You got to understand. We've been waiting. We've been waiting years for for this third chapter here, and yeah, we finally getting it. We're finally getting it.
Hmm.
Excited about it.
That is amazing. I can't wait. Yeah, that's like so. I mean, God, I don't know. I don't know if I'll even touch the Xbox One after that happens, but I mean, it's crazy. But no, I think this is good. This is good. This is a good conversation. I think we had a good time. And I do want to say thank you so much to Matt and Fame for being a part of the show this week. I really appreciate you guys coming on. I think we had a good time talking about sports. I think EA is going to sue us, but
oh, wait, yeah, that's right. We got to put out something nice to say about him. All right. So,
Hey, I said some nice things.
yeah, he did. He did. I did say something nice about EA. I said, wait, what did I say? Do I have to really go back? Wait, you
no,
got the
you
video.
said
You gonna
something.
rewind that, right?
You said Battlefront sells really well.
Yeah, Battlefield. Yeah, Battlefield sells really well. Yeah, it does. I ain't gonna lie, I do like Battlefield. See, I did say something nice about you, and I actually did enjoy Mirror's Edge, which I'm actually excited about a sequel to that on its
True.
way.
Yeah.
I'm digging Mirror's Edge. So, like I said, I've outgrown my boycott EA phase. I have, I have obviously been playing, and I did say I play UFC and I enjoy it. So, EA, get up off me. If you got a problem, come see me. Come see me.
I think
I'm still
that
famed Douglas.
yeah, we'll give EA a pass now, but honestly, if that NFL exclusive contract ever ends, I cannot wait to get in line for the next NFL 2K game.
Oh yeah, indeed.
That will be a day one purchase for sure.
Honestly, I think if 2K were to come back, if EA really wants to get better and cement themselves as the one, they need competition. They need to be motivated and pushed to say, hey, you know what? All right, they on our front doorstep. We need to hunker down and we finna put our foot in this game. Instead of just getting comfortable and recycling the same, because EA is comfortable right now. They really don't have to try.
But didn't they at one time try to kind of create their own competition by coming out with like NFL Madden and then NFL Street and then NFL Head Coach?
Yeah, that's like the
my
difference
God,
between
coach.
NFL head coach. Yeah, that's like the difference of WWE SmackDown versus WWE Raw. Give people the illusion of choice. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. But yeah, they did. You're right. They did try to create their own. But you know what? A lot of people actually had fun with the NFL Street though, even though it was kind of like an urbanized version of NFL Blitz. Very, very urbanized.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I use the word urban is because recently I think it was Chanel or whatever started making the do-rag. And they don't refer to them as the do-rag, which we've come to know as the do-rag, for decades now. But they don't refer to it as a do-rag because that's so ghetto. They refer to it as an urban tie cap.
Urban tie cap?
Urban tie cap. Yes.
Oh.
Urban tie cap. But yeah, that's all NFL Street was. It was like an urban blitz. They had some of their own elements, but it was still cool. A lot of people had fun with it. Same thing with the NBA Street Series.
That's right. Matt, do you have anything you would like to share with us before we head on out for the night?
I do not, but if you guys decide you want to do a console discussion, I would definitely like to be a part of that.
I'm with it. I'm down like 4 flat tires, baby. I'm with it.
Console wars. That would be interesting though. But we have to have like polarizing opinions. One of us has to be.
I'm
like,
unbiased, man. I got things that I like about both sides. You don't got to worry about me. Look, we have a PS4 guy, we have an Xbox guy, and then there's me.
Right, but you know what? Even though I do have a lean towards the PS4, I do call shit down the middle. I'm not going to say that Sony is without its evils. I'm of course I'll give you a preview, but we'll save the entire discussion. But just to an example, I'm not a huge fan of having to pay to rent games that I already digitally own on the PS3 in order to stream them on the 4. I've never been a fan of that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I think they need to. I think they need to recant their whole strategy when it comes to that. You know, PlayStation Now. I might actually use PlayStation Now if they did that. Like, oh, I can play my PS3 games that I already bought and purchased. I'm with it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft's working on that with the backwards compatibility, where you just put
I
the
get-
Xbox, you put the Xbox 360 disc in one time, and it
Yeah.
downloads it onto the system, or at least it downloads a version of it onto the system.
And
You
I
can
give
play
them props
forever
for
for
that.
free.
I give them props for that. Good play, but you know, I do understand why they did it. They needed something, but I give them props for actually, you know, so that hey, if your account is on this and you got it digitally, just go ahead, click it, download it, you're done. I give them
Yeah.
props. So, like I said, I'm not a total hater. I ain't want to hate on nobody. I call bullshit down the middle. You know, I may be biased, but I call some shit down the middle though. You know, that's what it is.
This will be a good conversation. We'll have to figure out a time that we can go ahead and
Sure.
do this one. I actually have another friend on who 3 weeks ago he was on, and he claimed that he thought the Sega Saturn was the worst video game system ever created.
Oh, we had to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, we gonna have. Oh, Lord have mercy. We gonna have a talk.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
So yeah, that might be good for console wars. I think
Yeah.
that would be a good conversation. But for Fame Douglas and Matt Pop or Matt's Pop, if you follow him on at underscore no, wait, was it just at Matt's Pop?
Yep. At Matt's Pop.
At Matt's
My
Pop
Twitter handle.
on the Twitters. You can check him out. Otherwise, you can check me out at underscore Joshua Turbo. We're doing a game hump Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your week.
Speaking of listening, if you all enjoy music, I happen to be not only a martial artist, not only an ex-pro wrestler, but I'm a DJ as well. Check me out, www.mixcloud.com/Fame Douglas. That's all one word. Check me out. I got some music for you. That's what I do. Netflix and Chill is a real mixtape. Yes, you've heard it here first. Check out the Netflix and Chill mixtape on mixcloud.com/Fame Douglas. And you like what you hear. And the challenge is, do you have the stamina to make it through the entire mixtape? If you do, you got you a new wife. Yes.
All right, guys, take it easy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Bye-bye.
It was fun. Right on.